Hey guys, going to do something a little different today. Since our Sixers are not in the playoffs, I'm watching the teams that are actually in the playoffs. And up until this point, it hasn't been that good. They've been blowouts in the semifinals. I mean, the Wizards got slaughtered by the Celtics a couple days ago. Cleveland handled the Raptors pretty well. The Rockets destroyed the Spurs in San Antonio. That was the biggest surprise of me. And then the series with L.A. Clippers, obviously, and the Jazz was pretty good. I mean, that was a little bit of an more evenly matched two teams together at the 4 and 5. So that was kind of fun to watch, and I kind of like seeing new teams in their fresh blood. So Utah being in there, I mean, we'll see what they do against the Warriors. I mean, the Warriors kind of skated by. Everybody has picked them to win the NBA championship. Obviously, adding Kevin Durant, but they're not as strong as they used to be in previous years. The year they won it, 2014, they had a great starting center. They had a really good bench too. They don't have that now. I think that's their biggest weakness. I mean, by adding a player of Kevin Durant's caliber, you're going to have to pay him, but you're going to leave holes there. You're not being able to afford your centers that you lost in Festus Ezeli and Andrew Bogut. They left in free agency, and you had other key pieces leave off your bench. Mo Spates, Leandro Barbosa. So by bringing in a player of his caliber, you're losing in other facets of your team, which I think is their biggest weakness. They don't really have a shot blocker down there. JaVale McGee's nothing special. So they're kind of just piecing guys in. I just figured they probably think they can outscore everybody, but I honestly think they're going to lose. I think the West, to everybody's chagrin and surprise, I think honestly Houston could take this. They have all the pieces now. I mean, James Harden is playing out of his mind. He's a superstar. But they got cohesive pieces. They went out in free agency and brought in a Ryan Anderson. Eric Gordon, who's finally healthy, is finally playing up to his potential. I mean, the guy always had great potential. He just never could stay healthy. So he's finally stayed healthy. He's just adding an element. And getting Sweet Lou was huge. I mean, obviously, we had him for 7, 8 years. I loved Sweet Lou when he was here. Guy can just score the basketball. But they have a very solid bench, and they have a very good center. They lost Dwight Howard, who's a whiny baby. Give him credit, he played a lot better with the Hawks. Looked like a little bit reminiscent of his Magic days. But they got Clint Capella, who looks outstanding. Great prospect they got out of Switzerland a few years back, 3 years ago. He can rebound, he's a shot blocker, and he can score the ball a little bit. So they really handed it to San Antonio. I think that's going to be a really good series, though. Popovich being the great coach that he is, he'll make the adjustments. We'll see Kawhi. I mean, this is Kawhi's team. It's the first year without Timmy. And LaMarcus Aldridge's got to play better ball, too. I mean, 4 points, it's just not going to get it done. So they really have to play better as a cohesive unit. It's Ginobili's last year. Parker's getting a little bit older. But, Pop, greatest coach ever, greatest minds of our time that we've ever seen. I think he's better than Phil Jackson. He'll figure out a way, so it'll be interesting to see. But I see the Warriors getting knocked out. Over on the East, it just you got the Cleveland Cavaliers. I don't know if anybody's going to stop them. I thought maybe the Raptors would give them a little bit more tougher assignment, but it doesn't look like it. LeBron's putting the team on his back like he has in recent years. I mean, he's just showing you why he's the greatest player ever. And I hate to say that because I'm not a big LeBron fan, as Adrian knows and everybody else does. I'm a big hater on that guy, but you can't deny his talent. He's the best player in the world right now. He's just unbelievable talent, and hopefully our guy in Ben Simmons, who's been compared to LeBron, and I hate when everybody does this, the media, everybody, but you have to have somebody to compare it to. They compare Brandon Ingram to Kevin Durant, but you don't know until they step on the court. Hopefully he can turn into that transcendent player. I mean, time will tell, but you could just have a superstar like that because they don't really have a deep team either. They've got a couple solid players, but health plays a key part in that too. Kyrie Irving's got to stay healthy, so does Kevin Love, Tristan Thompson. So I think they have a really weak bench, and they're just going to ride their star players out. And the East isn't as strong as the West. It's starting to turn. We've always seen the West being a very strong conference, but now it's starting to become the East. So the tides have turned a little bit. And with Washington playing the Celtics, that could really go up in the air, too. I really like the play of John Wall and Bradley Beal. I think it's one of the best backcourts in the NBA. They've really put their team on their back. They've gotten a little bit deeper as well. They've got a solid bench. They got really young pieces. So could they really stand up to to the challenge and defeat these Boston Celtics. I mean, they're a bunch of misfits just put together. You got IT. He's a superstar. I mean, I can't believe this guy went 60th overall, and that just shows you it doesn't matter where you get drafted. The guy's a superstar. They're riding his back. They just have a bunch of solid players around him, but it all depends on what IT is going to do, setting up the ball, scoring. So they have a really solid chance to make a push. I think they're the biggest challenge in the East for Cleveland. We'll see if Cleveland makes it back yet again to the NBA Finals. I'd hate to see that. I'd like to see fresh blood in there, like I said before. But I think it's going to be an interesting series with Utah and the Warriors. I know they didn't want to play them because they don't really have a superstar team either. They don't really have a solid superstar on that. It's just a young core that they have there. They got Rudy Gobert in the center. They really commit to defense. They've got 2 vets on there, Joe Johnson, George Hill, been really huge. And I think this is the blueprint that the Sixers really have to look at. Since the past couple of years we've missed the playoffs, they really have to look at this and go off of this. You got to have a strong bench. You got to play really good defense. And you have to have budding superstars. So you look at our team, we could have that in Ben Simmons. We don't know what we're going to get out of him, but by the looks of what he did in college, being a number 1 prospect, being the top overall pick, he could become a transcendent player with his passing ability, his big body, being able to play point. So hopefully, he can stay healthy throughout his career. The same goes with Embiid. We saw what we can get out of him those 31 games. It was very exciting to see. Livened up the center. I mean, we finally have a player that we can get excited about. But is he going to stay healthy? And the contract dispute, too, is coming up. Do we pay him $150 million to be our building block to go along with Simmons? And then our draft picks we have this year. Hopefully we land the LA pick. I don't see that happening. I just don't think we're going to get it. But with the pick that we have, we had 30 wins. If Simmons would have came back and played and Embiid stayed healthy and played, we definitely would have made the playoffs. 8th, 7th seed. We really wouldn't have went far. It wouldn't have mattered, but at least we would be moving forward instead of moving backwards and winning 10 games, which has been so frustrating over the years. But, we'll have to see. We have to add to our bench, too. We are still a few pieces away, but I feel like if we land a Malik Monk, depends how the balls fall on selection night to see where we're going to be picking at. I mean, that's what's exciting about the lottery. We also have the rights to swap with the Kings, so we have a ton of assets. It's just we're trusting Brian Colangelo to put them in the right spot and the right pieces together to do what we have to do. So it's really going to be up to him to see where we move forward with this team. But it's been really exciting to watch them. We're starting to see the pieces fit together. The jigsaw puzzles, the jigsaw pieces put together, and the team is finally molding. What are you going to do with Jahlil Okafor? He might be traded on draft night. I mean, who really knows? But it's finally good to see. And the playoffs have been really weak, I think. They've been all blowouts. I'm really pulling for maybe the Rockets to really go because James Harden's playing out of his mind. Who knows who's going to win MVP? But I really think they have the best chance to dethrone the King if Cleveland does make it, or even take out the superstar-studded Golden State Warriors. And it's going to be an interesting free agent year, too, because you got a couple key free agents coming out. You got Paul George, probably going to opt out. Russell Westbrook's going to opt out. I'm just hoping these guys don't form another super team. I'm kind of tired of seeing this. It's just, I think it's watering down the NBA by this happening. I hope this doesn't become a trend, but we've seen it in the past with the big 3 in Boston. I mean, even though that was a kind of a trade, but it all started with LeBron and Bosh going to Miami with LeBron. And then you got KD going over with the Warriors, even though they built it through the draft is what you want to do, and I hope that's what the Sixers are going to do. But, adding a key piece like Russell Westbrook, it won't happen. But I'm hearing Paul George wants to go out to L.A., and don't be surprised if Russell Westbrook goes out there and creates another super team. I don't want to see that. I think it ruins the NBA, but I'm kind of getting a little off track here. Sorry, guys. Just a little bit of a rant, but, I want to see it exciting again. The Clippers series, like I said before, was a really good series, I thought. Really close, wasn't really that many blowouts, but we'll see what they do with Golden State. But it's a perfect time for our Sixers, too, because LeBron's starting to get older. he doesn't have that much time left in the NBA for this type of dominance. So it's the perfect time for us to strike, to get young, to get our young pieces in there, to build a bench for Embiid and Simmons to rise to the occasion. Maybe we draft a Malik Monk. But we got the blueprint right here. If you want to go like the Jazz, have a young core, like if Gordon Hayward, you could call him their superstar, even though he's really not there. He's just a really, really good player and play really solid defense. You have your key vets. You always have to have key vets on a team. It's what Utah has. Young core, no real superstars. You look at the Celtics, bunch of misfits. You got IT as the superstar. They signed him in free agency. And just a bunch of picks they have. I don't know how they haven't built a super team before with all those draft picks they got from Brooklyn. But, Danny Ainge is a really good GM, I think. And then you could just be like Cleveland and ride your superstars. Like LeBron James, just have him dominate the entire game. Or, James Harden, you surround him with great players. They're three-point maniacs out there. They just have guys that you can rely on to create their own shot other than Harden. That was always their problem. They had Harden and a bunch of nobodies. They just kind of what Cleveland did for years and years and years and years. They really didn't surround LeBron with the right people until they made the trade for Kevin Love. But they got the right pieces in there. That's why I think they're going to win the NBA championship. They got other guys other than Harden that can put this team on their back, create their own shot, and score the basketball. That's the key. So, we'll see what happens. But it's an exciting time of year. We're coming down to the draft, June 22nd. It's not too far. We're going to be relevant again, Sixers fans. We're just getting there. I can't wait for next season, see who we add to this team. Hopefully, fingers crossed, Embiid stays healthy, which I'm going to look at the glass half full, and I'm going to say he is. And then we got Ben Simmons. We waited all last year for him to come back, and he never did. But this year he's coming back, guys. So it's going to be an exciting year for our Sixers. See what we do in free agency, too. Got plenty of money to spend. Do the right thing, BC. Do the right thing. I don't trust you as much as I did Henke, but and Brian Colangelo we trust. I say that a little reluctantly, but we'll see. This is Kyle Gaffner with the Bitter Birds. Be making a video tomorrow with Adrian for the Phillies to tune in. So, and then we'll be talking more draft stuff too. So, all right, guys. See you later.